Chicago Bears Now is presented by Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com when you plug in our promo code BEARS20. That's manscaped.com, promo code BEARS20 at manscaped.com. So we've got a lot of Bears news and rumors to get into out of Bears training camp. We'll get to the rumors portion here in just a minute, but let's talk injuries first. James Daniels left practice today, which, by the way, was the first practice at Soldier Field. They've been at Hallis Hall throughout up until today. Thigh injury. Don't know the severity of it, but not great news on a couple of fronts. One, this Bears offensive line is already getting somewhat thin. We'll talk about Tevin Jenkins later in the show. And two, Daniels is entering a contract year and missed most of last season with a pec injury. So not ideal to have one of your starting offensive linemen leave practice, especially a guy who was already banged up quite a bit a year ago, which has been the case with James Daniels. This is obviously not an ideal situation. I mean, we got this news about 15 minutes before we went live. Not great. There's more news coming up in just a second as well. Hopefully it's not serious. Hopefully Daniels gets back out there sooner rather than later. But you look at this offensive line, and you're already down 3 starters. Tevin Jenkins is hurt. He's not practicing. Jermaine Ifedi has been banged up. James Daniels now is sidelined. Hopefully not for long, but I mean, you're down to 2 of 5, and one of them is a center in Sam Mustipher, who has a lot to prove at this point in his career. So we'll keep you guys updated if we hear anything new on Daniels, but hopefully it's just a day-to-day situation. But he did leave Soldier Field today's practice with a thigh injury. Also, Eddie Goldman, who opted out of last season due to concerns over COVID-19, well, he's been placed on the reserve COVID-19 list. Don't know if he hasn't. Don't know if he's deemed a close contact. But either way, we can expect him to miss at least a few days of practice, potentially up to 10-plus days if he did contract COVID-19. So if he does have it, hopefully he's feeling better very, very soon. This was obviously a concern of his, which is why he opted out last year. Hopefully, all is well there with him. As more information comes out, we will break it down. If you hate injuries, if you hate all this stuff, type H in the comments. It's a hateful day to start things off, although you Bulls fans are feeling pretty good about what's happening with the Chicago Bulls. But type H if you hate injuries, because they're just not any fun, and hopefully James Daniels is back. Hopefully Eddie Goldman gets healthy as well, and we can get those guys back very, very soon. Go ahead and spam H in the comments. Let's get into our Bears rumors roundup now. We kind of discussed some of the news there. Steady Andy Dalton at training camp so far. Yeah, for the most part, for Smoking Jays. I mean, he has been steady. He's been solid by all accounts. Bears local media, who's at practice every day, and the coaching staff and teammates, they all continue to say that, hey, this is clearly a guy who's played in the NFL for a decade and knows how to play football. I mean, this is kind of what you wanted when you signed Andy Dalton, right? The Athletic wrote up on it as well, how he's picked up the playbook very quickly. He's been steady. He's been in control. Did throw an interception earlier today. Jalen Johnson jumped a deep out route, but overall, Dalton has been in command of this Bears playbook, and hey, he's a 10-year vet. This is what you're hoping for. You're looking for steady play, which is why you signed Andy Dalton this offseason, and I would say early signs are that he's not going to give up the starting job, at least not at this point in time. Here was part of the Athletics write-up on Andy Dalton saying, quote, watching Dalton in practice, it's apparent how comfortable he is with these throws, whether it's a comeback route in which the receiver turns and the ball is there, or an out route to the sideline. He had several well-timed completions to his receivers during Monday's practice. Obviously had a practice today at Soldier Field as well. This is not Andy Dalton's first rodeo. This guy has been around. He's had a lot of success in this league. Certainly some ups and downs overall, but I would argue much more ups than downs at this point in his career. So he's just a guy that knows how to play. I don't think there's any doubt about that, and I think that has been apparent so far during Chicago Bears training camp. What is your confidence level in Andy Dalton? Go ahead and scale it from 1 to 10 for me down in the comment section. 10 being you're very confident, 1 being you're not confident at all. I'm at like a 7. I feel pretty good here. I don't think he's going to come in here and throw for 4,500 yards and be an all-pro, but I think he will be better than the combination of Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky, which is what we saw a year ago, and that just wasn't going to cut it. That is why Chicago signed Andy Dalton this offseason, even though they also drafted Justin Fields, who we'll talk about in a minute, as the long-term future. They had to get a steady presence at the quarterback position, and Dalton, if nothing else, is at least fairly steady. Again, the stats overall aren't going to jump off the page for anyone, but he's at least a guy who knows how to play and knows how to play at a very high level, and he's played for a very, very long time. I mean, he's started 142 games, and he's won more games than he's lost. Like, that's pretty solid. That's much more. These numbers right here would make Dalton by far the best statistical quarterback in Chicago Bears history. Like, that speaks volumes, more so about the Bears' history, but also about Andy Dalton. You don't start in the league for a decade by accident. Like, you don't get here and last this long because it's a fluke. Andy Dalton has lasted in the NFL this long because he just knows how to play the quarterback position. Obviously, Justin Fields is coming, and we'll talk about him here in just a minute. But first, hey, today's show presented by Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping with our promo code BEARS20 at manscaped.com. The Lawnmower 4.0 is the best men's grooming product on the market. No razor burn, no pull, no tug. It's just going to be a clean shave downstairs. So then when you hop into bed with your lady friend or whoever your significant other is, it's going to be a good time. And you don't want, to get down and dirty and then all of a sudden there's just a fur ball down there. That is just an absolute disaster. Get 20% off at manscaped.com with promo code BEARS20 and have fun at night with your significant other. All right, let's keep it going with our Bears rumors roundup. Justin Fields, is he trusting the process? For Smokin' Jays, look, the guy understands that you can't go from 0 to 100 in the NFL. You're just not going to skip 10 steps when it comes to being a high-level NFL quarterback. He's talked about it. Matt Nagy's talked about it. Fields continues to improve. What were some of the notes the first couple of days of practice? Oh, Justin Fields looks like a rookie. He's throwing the ball a little late. He's hesitant at times. Well, since then, he's gotten much better. He's been improving every single day. He's learning how to balance taking risks downfield versus just checking it down, because obviously Justin Fields, throughout his college career, was a guy always looking for the bigger play, which you like that in your quarterback, but you have to pick and choose when you do that. Hey, check it down to David Montgomery. Take the 7 yards sometimes. You just have to figure out those things, and I think he's slowly learning how to do that. Again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And then this quote right here, when he was asked about, obviously Bears fans are hyped to see him play, want him to start week 1. He said, look, greatness doesn't happen overnight. Inject this quote into my veins like a lot of you Bears fans have already. We always talk about the it factor in professional sports. Fields has it. He just gets it. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but he just has the right mindset, and I just think he has what it takes to be that franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Like, he's just doing all the right things. He's saying all the right things. He's showing up early. He's staying late. He's, working out when no one else is at the building at Hallis Hall. This is what it takes to be a legendary NFL player, and he's doing all the right stuff early. Again, it's very early. We don't know when he's going to play. We don't know if he's going to play well. We don't know if he's going to be good, but I'm pretty confident that all those things will end up coming into fruition if he continues to do the right things. Have the Bears finally found a franchise quarterback? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm going to type my Y for yes. I think Chicago has finally found its franchise QB. Are you concerned about Tevin Jenkins? This is also for Smokin' Jays. We're smoking a lot of Jays on today's show. I'm fairly concerned. I mean, I'm pretty darn concerned at this point. Like, not necessarily that the back is going to be a long-term issue, although that is a little bit of a concern. More so that the Bears have made Teven Jenkins their starting left tackle for a guy who didn't play much left tackle in college, and he hasn't taken a single rep at training camp. That's concerning. Like, if you're not concerned at this point, I don't know what to tell you. This was a team that struggled at tackle last year. Charles Leno, Bobby Massey were not good. That's why they parted way with those guys. But I will say it'd be nice to have an insurance policy in a guy like Charles Leno right about now, and they don't have that right now. Teven Jenkins has not taken a single rep at training camp yet. be nice for him to go up against guys like Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn, who's been a bit banged up as well, but that has not been the case. And he is projected to be this team's starting left tackle. You need reps. He's a rookie. We need him out there. Come on, let's go. Get Tevin Jenkins out on the practice field. Like, I get it. If he's hurt, he's hurt. That's fine. But the more time he misses, the worse this is for the Bears 2020 offensive unit, because it's already an offensive line group that, while I think has pretty decent potential, you're already seeing guys be banged up. Ifedi, banged up. James Daniels left practice with a thigh injury. Tevin Jenkins has a back issue, hasn't taken a single rep at Bears training camp. That ain't good, folks. That is not a great situation. Now, a slight silver lining on this is that Larry Borom is going to get some left tackle reps, according to Matt Nagy, fellow rookie out of Missouri. He got some today as well, by the way, and apparently the Bears O-line struggled overall in today's 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 reps, Borom, getting him those reps is valuable, but you don't want him starting as a rookie. He's a fifth-round pick. He needs time to develop. So you need your second-round pick out there, man, sooner rather than later. Hopefully he can get out there and be ready for that first preseason game. Every day they say the same thing. Nothing's changed, but he's trending in the right direction. So has nothing changed, or is he trending in the right direction? I don't really know what that means when the Bears coaching staff continues to say that. So all I know, need him out there. Hopefully it happens very, very soon. Do you trust the Bears' offensive tackle situation? Type T for trust, type D for don't. If fully healthy, I feel better about it, but at this exact moment in time, I'm probably going to have to type my D for don't. I just don't feel great about where things sit at this point in time. Go ahead and get your votes in, T for trust or D for don't. Nick Foles, could he get traded to the Colts? We talked about this on Monday, but Colin Cowherd went on one of his epic kind of analogy rants and somehow compared it to Tom Petty and this and that and the other. Basically, he said, look, the Colts are a team ready to win now, and they should go get Nick Foles. And hey, I'm down because it saves the Bears $4 million, and Nick Foles has no value being the Bears' third-string quarterback. Carson Wentz obviously out 5 to 12 weeks, which, by the way, has anyone ever seen a larger injury designation? Yeah, he'll be out for 1 to 6 months. Like, what? That makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah, he's out 1 to 3 months. That's basically what that says. Yeah, it's a big gap, Indy, but I guess figure it out. Quentin Nelson got the same designation today. Here's what Cowherd had to say. Quote, I think I'd call Nick Foles. If I was the Colts, I'd call Nick Foles, who's currently the third-string quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Jim Irsay has to do what's best for the Colts. So does Frank Wright. I'd feel bad for Carson Wentz, but let's be honest. The Colts got him out of an unseemly situation. Please, Indy, please trade for Nick Foles. He's just not it. He ain't it anymore. I've never seen a quarterback so desperate publicly yesterday, just crying for help to try and get out, talking about how Frank Reich's the greatest man he's ever played for and this and that. It's like, dude, you didn't play well in Chicago. Like, we get it. You want a different situation, but haven't played well in like 3 years now. Indy, take him. Give the Bears a sandwich. I don't care. You get that $4 million in cap relief. That would be absolutely fantastic. So what do you guys think? Where will Foles play this upcoming year? Type C for the Colts. Type B for Bears. Type O for other. Maybe a team like the Jets could still be in play. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments. C for Colts, B for Bears, or O for other.